Hi everyone, I'm Renee and welcome to my channel. Today I'll show you how I made this Dory Cupcake Topper. This video is part of a collaboration with some of my Dessert Network friends. I'll have links to all of their videos in the description box below and also linked at the end of this video. To get started with this Dory Topper, I'm just rolling out some royal blue colored fondant to about 1/4 of an inch thickness. For Dory's body, I'm using a teardrop cutter that I'm going to squish a little bit so it has a blunter end. This is the second largest of my 6-piece Atiko set. And once you get the teardrop cut out, just make sure it has nice smooth edges. And then cut out 2 more triangular shaped pieces with just the end of the teardrop cutter the same size. This will be for the fin and tail. For now, I'll set one of the triangular pieces under plastic so it doesn't dry out, and we'll work with just the other 2 pieces. I'm going to cut off the point of the teardrop and then make a bottom fin by cutting a little notch and tapering it towards the blunted end, and a top fin by making a little triangular notch and also tapering that down. Cut off the tip of the triangle piece so that it matches up with the body, and then glue those pieces together with a little bit of water. Her tail is not as flared as that teardrop cutter made it, so I'm just trimming that a bit and then gonna make a nice straight edge to the back of the tail. Now from that other piece we cut, I'm going to make a much smaller triangle, and this will be her fin. I'm just using my finger to pat that down and give the edge a little curve up so that the fin has a little bit of movement to it. Now with some navy fondant, I've rolled it very thin, and I'm using that teardrop cutter just to give me the top curve of her body, and that will help me shape this navy pattern she has. Cutting off a little bit of the extra fondant so I have less to work with. Lay that over the body and tail piece we made, and I'm using my X-Acto knife just to mark where I'll need to cut it so that it will match up exactly once we place this piece on top of the body. And then trim that piece out with an X-Acto knife. Now I'll use a much smaller teardrop cutter. This is about a 1/2 inch teardrop to help me get a nice curve where she has that in her navy markings and round off that point. Now I'm just lining it up to make sure everything looks good and trim if necessary. This navy marking also has kind of opening in it, so I'm using just a regular straw to help me get that, and then just a couple more cuts with the straw to make sure that it's wide enough. Then use just a little bit of water to attach this piece to the body. Now the little fin that we made has a navy stripe on it as well, so I'm using that as a template to cut out a little piece from the rolled out navy fondant, and then trimming that off so that some of that royal blue will peek through underneath. Just making sure that I have made it small enough. Then trim some, this is lemon yellow fondant that is the same size as that navy piece, and again trim off a little bit from the sides, and that way we'll have kind of a layered look. Then just attach each of these pieces with a little bit more water. Now I'm going to squish the pointy end so it's a little bit thinner there and give that fin another bend because we kind of lost it attaching these other pieces. Trim it off so it's nice and straight and attach with a little bit of water. The tail also has that yellow stripe in it, so I have a triangle of the yellow, and I'm just marking with my X-Acto knife where to trim it. Then go ahead and make those cuts. And the last cut of this yellow piece we have to make is the back edge of the tail. So I'm just creasing it where I want it to end, and go ahead and attach with some water. Now I'll gently imprint some marks with the X-Acto knife to give the fin some texture, and go ahead and make some marks on the smaller fin as well. With my teardrop cutter, I'm going to go in and imprint a smile, and using my smallest ball tool, make a little dimple and finish off the curve of that smile with just the back of my X-Acto blade. Now I'll make an eye with a small ball of white fondant, and I'm going to tap that down, cut it out with the straw, and then tap it down so it doesn't have any blunt edges. And that's going to be positioned kind of overhanging the edge of the body piece. Now she has a little eyebrow, so I'm using the tiniest bit of black fondant, rolling it into a little snake and making it a slight curve, and attach that above the eye with some water. And some of the final details are to use some black food color to paint on a pupil, and here I have Dory looking forward, and she has some little freckles, so I'm using just some blue food coloring and a tiny paintbrush to add those. And she's done. You can add this to the side of a cake, or I let them dry and I use them as cupcake toppers. Don't forget to check out the other videos from this Finding Dory inspired collaboration. You can click the images on screen now or find links to each individual video and the full playlist in the description box below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos.